Hello, everybody. So I guess most of the guys are young as me and Shrang. We all students. We all are learning and we all are growing. It's a great. It's a beautiful thing. The youth generation, according to me, is the future of every country, of every new place, whatever is building up in today's world. So before I get started, a banker who's today turning into different avenues of life, I just want to send out this message that we didn't have this opportunity. What Strung is, conducting. Strung is doing such a beautiful career transformation masterclass series, and I think this is one of the best, kind of an grip and idea how you can really, get into the culture. How can you get motivated? How can you get, getting knowings about what is the trending things happening today in market? So I think Shrang is doing an absolutely good job. And I'm really inspired because the youth is something which we can understand that the youth is the number one thing is we have to understand what the mindset is. We need freedom today. We don't have to be locked. We don't have to be getting stuck into something which has been the traditional thinking of our parents and other our teachers, because they were in a very different generation. We are today in a very different generation. The world is changing in quick time, guys. So today is the number one thing is you guys have to first thing break free and find a path, because we don't have the same conservative thought processes. Whatever we bring in from whatever traditions and through our values, it's good. Take everything, whatever you learn in your life, but what you're learning today is very different to cope up and to keep up with today's trending. And today the world is at a very fast pace. So I was at a Chinese convention which was happening in from Bangkok. I just came back from there, and there was this Chinese entrepreneur, very young gentleman, inspired me with his idea that the youth, the younger generation, has to be an entrepreneur. They have to be someone who wants to live by freedom, who wants to be a part of their life, of the real growth, and to give people the life. And third thing he shared was that share with the world what you learn, what you have with you. So this is something what the youth and the younger generation can do. So today we see we have the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas and whatnot. We are very different from the generation. We're like 2 decades backwards. And I imagine that the world where every child today looks up in a very different way with the Insta, the social media, the attention, and the guidance is something I think which Shrang is doing to support and nurture the potential between the Gen Z and the Gen Alphas to cultivate the next generation in the innovators and thinkers. And I think this is a platform where leaders and the real geniuses can be taking the unique way to the path of success. And this is something which is very powerful to shape your your minds. And I would encourage that every person should be encouraging more and more people of your age to participate in such workshop, because we didn't have this in our time. And I think this is something which is going to unlock the potential and getting you to a brighter future. So talking about my presentation today, I just want to talk about something real strategies. And we want to make it something really connecting between you and us. It's going to be like more of an interaction. It's not going to be more like a Gyan Guru workshop. It's something to do with your feelings about what you are thinking today. So the biggest thing I think that today's generation feels is the struggle. They're feeling that they're trapped. How many of you feel that you're trapped with your thought process? How many of you in this room today can raise your hands in the chat box that you feel that you are thinking the same negative, repetitive thoughts and you're keeping yourself stuck and trapped in that thought process? How many of you? Can anyone raise their hands? How many of you have that feeling that you feel you're very trapped and you don't feel you're moving anywhere in life? Okay, plenty of you, right? Because we all know the drill, right? You know what's the drill? We get up in the morning, we take phones, we get onto the social media, right? And then we do a little bit of work, whatever we're going to study or whatever we're going to do and think, right? And then what happens? Then you get onto Netflix, and then this cycle keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. What's happening from there? This is keeping you where? This is keeping you stuck somewhere? How many of you feel that this is something which is really keeping you stuck? Or this is something a lot of people are seeing around their circle, that all the people are doing the same thing. And you just feel that, this is something which makes you feel comfortable. You must be feeling nicer about this activity because it's all been nurturing around. It's all been happening around you. Like we always been taught, we always been given that obligation that we should get to school, college, get a degree, get a job, and then start a family. Boom, and that is success, right? How many of you feel this is success? Go to college, get a degree, okay, get to work, get married, boom, success, right? So I think many of us have been seeing this in your environment, in your family. And this is something you may feel that it's nice, it looks good, but it's something which is not the only thing what you have to do. You have to think beyond this mindset. So I think this is where we have to really get out of these struggles of these older mindsets, which is feeling like a trap in today's generation. That is, the generation is not moving around. It's not giving themselves a thinking cap. So this is one idea what I wanted to share with you. And that is where that one path, that true myth. Now, I see that a lot of people like always tell us, there is only one path. You only have to follow that one thing in life, right? But I would say that's not true. Yeah, it's mind-blowing to many of you that what the hell am I talking? Because that is what we have been, I think that imagine you are eating just one kind of a food every single day. Is that going to be interesting or it's going to be bored?
Extremely boring.
Same thing is if you play a game of football, I just have one technique, just one technique. And in that one technique, I'll try to score goals. Initially, I'll be successful. But if I keep performing that same technique over and over again, the goalkeeper knows that this technique and he will save the goal every time. Now, if you don't improvise on the technique, if you don't improve with 5, 10, 15, 30, 40 skills, what will happen is you're not going to grow. You're going to be frustrated in that situation. And that is one true myth of falling a trap of that 80% people's mindset. And the 80% of the youth today is not improvising anything. And that is where I think I made this note. If you can focus on that broader aspect of your growth, as in you can look at more activity, you can look at more mission-based ideas. Because see, this life is all about a mission. Okay. I was on a mission when I started my career. I knew that I started as an insurance person. I personally connected with a lot of insurance related stuff. And then I thought that the insurance market is good. It's nice. It's powerful. But I don't belong here. I just want to explore to a new market. I went into banking and I just opened up to a different avenue, to a different country and to a different place. And that gave me a night exploration, because if I was just stuck to one job, to that one insurance company or to that one initial job of my life, I would not have got to meet newer country, newer nationalities, new experiences, new culture, new wisdoms of life, So these are something what we need to relate to, guys. So I think we need to evolve around a broader aspect, and we have to give ourselves an opportunity to go to new things. Okay. So I think I want to ask you all that humans, we have to think about our generalists, right? Now, many of us today who think that, we humans have our own generalists, we adapt, we learn, right? How many of you think you are lions and you are polar bears in this room? Lions and the polar bears, they basically live in an environment where they're stuck. But we humans, all you younger generation guys, you need to understand one thing, that we build tools. We are like building ourselves on things. So many a part of your general list is based on, I think what matters is a lot of the creative work of many people gets completely lost because systems and our own culture. Today, I was in a place called Nagaland. People over there have a very different culture from the main cities. They're very different in the sense the metropolitan lifestyle is very different from Nagaland. But if you're going to be stuck, your culture is good, you respect, you honor, right? But when you come into education, when you come into collaboration with newer culture, newer generation, you have to adapt. You have to learn. If you're upgrading yourself to some certain area of education, you have to be a person adaptable to all that, right? Now, if you don't be adaptable, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change for you, right? So this is where a lot of the people's creativity has stopped. I remember in the schools, or at home, parents must have shouted at you while you were making those drawings on the walls. Right? How many of you have done that, those young life where we all were toddlers, young kids? We did some creative work and we stopped the creativity because we got shouting and we thought that this is not the area. We stopped the creative things. We have stopped doing a lot of things which we were doing mistakes, where we were trying new things, we were exploring new things. But a lot of the generation today doesn't want to be looked around doing mistakes. They just want to be looked around as the best cool guys. They just don't want to understand how things are built and how they can build themselves up with the systems which are getting better and improvising. AI can be good, AI can be bad. Is that AI system going to help you? So I think that we are taught to be specialized on a specific role. So do you think that specification is a trap, or specializing on something only on one thing is a trap? How many of the students feel that we are specializing on one thing? And I think that is one of the biggest trap which the younger generation today is just looking at one thing. Like if they go into AI, if they're going to IT, they're just specializing in IT. They're not grooming up, they're not looking at the other avenues in IT, right? So specialization in one thing is also a trap, which I have seen in a lot of the younger people. They don't want to look at what others, they just want to follow the herd mentality. They don't want to explore what is still improvising in that IT segment. So I think what we have to see is, that is what I want to understand from people, is the younger generation, is that what is that specialization you're doing on that one thing, is try to improvise on multiple ideas so that you can get better improvement. So this is what I have been missing out in my college time, and this is what I missed out in my career. I think Shrang would relate to it, because I think Shrang is one of the most smartest person I've ever met. And I've seen him encouraging a lot of the young youths and inspiring them to go for the better career. So this is something what we need to look on for. And that is the reason I want people to reject the societal norms which have been coming into our life, that go to school, get a degree, get a job, buy a house. That's okay. There are many of the people who are happy. There are many of the people who are fulfilled with this mindset. There are a lot of the people who are excited, but there are many of the people, they just feel that they're just missing something in life. There are many of the people who have just been doing this regular works and they are not excited anymore. They just feel that this is not the only thing. So as younger generation, it's not only about, these career oriented. It's good, go to school, it's getting a degree, getting a job, buying a house. All that looks very, very nice. But what is really important is, did you question the status quo? Did you ever, someone told you something, or your parents or your guidance or your tutor or your anyone who's your counselor, he told you to do something. Did you question why is he advising you to do that? Did you just follow it, or did you, before following it, did you question him that why should I follow on this path, right? That is the time you're not doing anything wrong. That is the time, actually, what I see is, what I missed out in my life was that I didn't ask, I just followed blindly. I was just into banking, so I knew that the banking, I need to do these things, and this is what they were guiding me. This was all given to me, and this is how I have to go on the guidance and move around, right? But I never questioned them, why they were advising me to do this workshop, why they were advising me to go for doing this certain management courses and all that. But you have to question, you have to also start thinking from your own head. You also have to give yourself a thought process, that you also have to open up to why this has been proposed to me, right? And I think there is a lot of regret that happens, that when you reach to a certain part of your life and you think that, oh boss, I regret because I didn't want to do this in my career. I wanted to do this, but because I was guided like this way, my parents forced me and I was influenced by the people around me, I got into the wrong area. So how many of you have felt now that you are feeling somewhere following the same stethoscope, not rejecting the social norms of whatever the society and the average mindset of people who are surrounding you, who don't know exactly what you want to do in your life? But how many of you feel that you're stuck somewhere and you're somewhere feeling the pain that, boss, I got it all wrong? Is there anyone in this room today who feels that? Yes, we have. Okay, nice. So So the good thing is, it means that you're thinking, and now you start pulling up yourself and start doing better now from here. So mistakes. How many of you don't want to do mistakes in life? How many of you think that doing mistake is you're going to be sounding like a clown? You'll be like a person who's not going to be looking very cool in the generation today, right? So I feel that today's generation doesn't want to do mistakes. They want to be called the most coolest guys, the best of person. But I want to tell you one thing, guys, and I think many mentors and many influencers and many people around you have always told you that there is no success without failure. Failure can only be a part of success. They are a part of the same coin, right? So if you really want to venture out, the mistakes, now just imagine when I was a kid, or Shrung was a kid, or any one of you who was in their grade third, fourth, fifth, we would just pick up, we would do nasty things, we would break things, and we would do a lot of mistakes, and we would learn from it. Like if we break something off, our mom would scold us, and now we remember, okay, that shelf has certain glass items, we have to stay away from there. We don't have to do this again. So we learned, right? So we did mistakes, we learned, right? We were in sports, we went involved into football career, whatever, hockey. We know that certain way we had to pass the ball and certain way didn't work for us. We learned, and we were okay. We didn't feel anything around us. We never felt the fear of feeling judging by the environment and the society around you. But why today the generation feels that making mistake is like you become a laughing kind of thing. You become like a completely uh, you know a person going to be not cool. You're going to be just like cool. But this is something which is bothering a lot of the younger generation. The backup plan is everything, because you can't be living in the dead end, right? And that is where a lot of problems happen, because a lot of the people only have that one path and that one way of following life. And if you just follow that one path, so that is what I wanted to ask this all the students who are attending today, that if you just follow that one path, and if that one path completely fails, then what happens? Think about this. This is a question which I want you guys to ask yourself and ponder around that, and just think, if the dead end will kill you, or will the dead end just keep you stuck over there? So that is one of the reasons a lot of the younger generation feel that way. And if you start getting out of these thought processes, I think if you can start thinking, is what my whole evaluation is about, that we had no options as our time and our generation. Our parents didn't give us that importance. Today, though, I'm really happy that a lot of the parents take so much interest and so much of encouragement and so much of involvement with their kids. But at our time, we had a very less involvement. So you have good parents to participate in all your activities. So just be more of, in a person to try and keep your backup plans, as Strung has told you. So that is where we all can get ourselves to the next level. So while we are having this interaction, these questionnaires, the power of exploration is something which I want to share with people. This is what has completely changed me for my life. And whatever grade of education you come from, and whatever you do in life, this is something which completely changed me. This is something which has really been the stepping stone when I stepped into the unknown. And this was something which I really encourage today's generation and the generation coming forward, the Gen Alphas and everyone today, that they have to go and adapt, and they have to go into the unknown. For instance, you're taking a boat, okay, and you are stuck because you're surrounded by the fog. Now, you have two things. What you can do is just stay there, okay, just don't do anything, or you still need to stir the boat and get out of and go on to your destination. So this is what we need to understand, guys. Because when I was in my early 23s, 20s, I had this thing, that I felt that everything is not moving. I was stuck. The scale of the salary was not improvising. I was feeling that I was not getting a better lifestyle. I wanted to hit my goals and my dreams. So I went and explored the unknown, because I went to completely a new country, a new place, a new culture, a new temperature, a new environment. And it was something which was like, I could never imagine being that courageous person at that age. But what made that decision so bold? Because of my goals and my dreams. And that basically has changed me, completely changed me. Guys, in 2 years' time, I could have my own home. How many of you in this room have taken that bold decision once in your life? I want to see how many of you have experienced this kind of a feeling that you went to the unknown, you stepped to the unknown, where you thought in the first place, what was I thinking when I took this decision? And then you realize, boss, I am doing great with this. And you just get to a next level. And this is where you get growth, right? Because we are basically what happens, we do not get ourselves out of the life where we are stuck. There is one exercise I want to give everybody today. And this is a very important exercise. If you can do, I follow this, and I have always advised a lot of my team members to follow this. What is that the three negative, feelings or the things what you're doing in life, like you're not eating well, or you're stuck with certain family burdens, or there is something like you're involved with drugs or smoking, drinking, or you're stuck with these new apps which are about dating. These things could be anything which you feel in your life. Think in your mind that first three things, and just think that what is keeping you stuck. Just write it down in your mind. What are the three things? I know my three things. I'm also thinking right now, which has kept me, inside, stuck over there. I'm not able to grow because I have these habits which have not let me go to the next level. Now, if you start thinking on that this is okay, I did wrong, this is what I'm doing wrong, this is what I'm doing wrong. Now, what you do is you burn that just in your mind, just finish that. This is it. This is the three things were killing me. Now you burnt it. So once you burn it, what will happen is you get to the thought process of getting to a newer person. You start exploring to newer things. So now you have to start with something new. So what has been doing wrong? So you have never gone to the exploration levels where you have never gone and imagined, because you never had the thought process what was working wrong with you. So now when you get these three negative thought processes which has kept you stuck, when you delete them from your mindset, when you get them out from your mind, you get the advantage of exploring to new ideas. So how many of you are going to follow this key exercise? And this is not something what you need to follow only in this masterclass or after this masterclass. This is going to be a practice which I do it throughout my life. And I find this very encouraging, and this is very inspiring for me, because whenever I get stuck in life, I always look at my current situation, what is keeping me stuck in that situation. And that is the three things or the two things or that one thing which has been kept me affected with that. I try to program that, and I like to delete that, burn that, and I get improvised on that. So how many of you are going to improvise on this idea? Shrang, do you think this makes sense? I still follow on this.
Totally, 100%.
Wow. So this is the power of exploration, and this is something which I have been doing. And one of the most important thing as younger generation is we get really mad, radically mad. We want the change, and it's a beautiful thing, guys. There are a lot of people who are very cool about not doing anything. We are very cool about nothing is improvising. But I'll tell you guys, it's really good that there are students I've seen that they feel that, oh, we are stuck on this life. We are feeling really frustrated. We really feel that we are fed up of this life where we are right now. So this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. This is not about any kind of, you don't need a counselor. You don't need anyone to be consulting. It is a very good thing about this generation if you are doing that. Because if you don't get mad at something, how would you ever grow? How would you ever even get to the next level? Because if I am happy with the life what I have, and many of our parents and many of our people and the generation around, we see they are very comfortable. They may not be very happy. They must be feeling that they're just existing, but they're not getting mad at that situation. That is why nothing is changing for them in their life. And many of you just have to think, what is that one thing which you're fed up of? What is that one stuff which has kept you not getting you out from there? So if you get mad on it and you really put that thought process to it, boss, that's it. Abhi ek kaam khatam karo and let's move to the next level. I promise you guys, that will be the biggest power of getting mad on the wrong things, and that will give you the power of getting onto the right things in your life. And this is something which I do in my day in, day out. And I think if this was the power which was given to me as a student, I would have followed this at that day one, and it would have helped me to be a much better person than what I am today. And I'm still improvising on it, because I think this is something which is the power of really giving a lot of encouragement to a lot of youth. And even in sports, when I was representing Junior India, I was for hockey, a goalkeeper. I just played to state level. I always was mad at that why the hell am I not going to the, you know, to nationals? Why I am not being promoted? What is that area of my decline? What is that area of that one improvement? And just think about it, that if we get fed up and we put ahead and just think that how can I improvise and how I can get going there, and you start improvising on your skills, you get improvise on what takes you to be the national level player, what is the kind of fitness, what is the kind of activity, what is the kind of areas of improvement you need, so that people and the coaches are observing you. So they are very close watching you, that at this area this guy looks very sharp, this guy looks sharp at this area, his saves are good at this time, at the he's very good at those corners and those penalties, he has very good reflexes. So I improvised on that. So I was getting happier because I got mad at those weaknesses, and that was something which made me to the national level, and I was so happy to represent the country on the Junior India level. And even in football, I got to be representing as a goalkeeper. So this is how it happens, guys. And I think this is a beautiful practice. What I think we should pass it on to you, and I think it's helped me. Try it on. If it improvises, please text me and share the goodness of what has it really brought an improvement. Share the testimonials to Shrang and see if this can really help you in any ways. But it has helped a lot of people who I've been thinking. So now what works for me is what works for you, or what works for the entire generation, or what works for the entire community today, is that there is a reset program. We are having too much of data, we have too much of information, there is too much of things going around today. Even if you want to study about something, there's so much of stuff which is being put into a head. There are so much of people giving everybody is giving gyan, everybody is teaching, everybody is giving their own part of their improvement programs, everybody will come and give you everything. But what you need to do is you have to understand that you have to get your reset. There is something which I follow, is when I get totally frustrated, I get totally mad at things, I kind of reprogram myself. Now just imagine if your computer is crashing, so you reboot it, right? We all need to do that. The same thing, you have to do it with your mind. It's just that you have to do not have to disappear completely from everybody's life or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you just have to get into some new habits. You just have to get into some new activities. You just have to improvise on something where you're weak at. So I was trying to improvise on my communication skills. So I started reading more books. I started to introduce that habit in my daily and day out. And I felt that was quite encouraging, and that was quite motivating. And it really helped me to get to a better person. And today, if I'm improving in any ways, because I follow this pattern on a very regular way, regular times. Because I think that today's time we have so much of information that we don't build new habits, we're not building the new skill sets. So how many of you think in this room that you are not able to build the new habits, new skill, because you have been garbaged in with so much of information, and you don't have the cleaning process, you don't know how to detox that area. And I think it is something which has been told today. A lot of people try to explain you that you need to do this and you need to do that. But I would just say that in this 3 months reset program, it's not about disappearing from the world. It's only about getting into new habits, getting into new culture. And I think if you follow this pattern, you will see a lot of your areas of improvement. And this has helped me. Like, for instance, I'll give a very good example. For me, I had restricted myself to my business to only one particular state. And I was quite happy, comfortable, because I was getting a good amount of revenue. But I found that the dependency was actually making me an handicap, because I was not having anyone to support me on the backup. And it was something I thought I was good and I'm sorted and I'm having the money coming in. But then it actually was playing a very dependent role for me. and I was not being independent. My job is to be independent, not to be dependent. So that is the time when I thought about opening new avenues. I started exploring new markets. I went to a South India market. I opened up a new market. And in that set of the resetting of 3 months, I dedicated my 90 days directly to that location. I just didn't go anywhere else. I just started concentrating for 90 days in that new market. And what happened was I started seeing complete exposure. I went into new markets and multiple cities in the South Indian market, and many people started accepting, and the idea was growing, and the culture is getting more and more growth now, because the new habit, the new culture, the new meetings, the new people coming into the room, the new motivation, the new energy, everything started changing for me. So I think this is an idea where this 3 months resetting program can help everyone. So if you are stuck with your, certain career stuff, and you think you need an advice, how can you improvise, Strung and his other master classes, and you can take guidance from such lovely educational programs where you can get out of it and you can start your new habit and your new skill set, and God is going to take you to the next level. So this is one thing what I want you to practice on, work on the strategy, which is going to be there, and learning through the risk and pressure is something which is the most important part. This is what we should be doing. This is where the risk has to be taken. This is where you have to put in everything. Till you don't do that, there's nothing going to change. If you don't involve 100%, if you don't have the fear of losing, you will not have the encouragement of getting it to the next level. Because when you know you're going to lose, then you get motivated yourself, you're going to give a self-assessment to yourself, and you're going to see yourself where you stand, and that is what helped me to grow. So that is the reason I want people and the younger generation around in this room today to feel and think about this thought process, and which I think can make a lot of difference. Yeah, it's okay. See, we can make all those stupid decisions. You should not be like scared about whatever we do in our life. There could be everything which is waiting for us only when we take the risk and we explore to the next level. So the key takeaways of this presentation is that I just want to share that what I have spoken today was based on not focusing on that one path and not just sticking to that one mission. You are on a bigger mission. You are on a bigger scale of growing and putting yourself to the next level. So try and be on that scalable thing. Mistakes are not failures. They are the lessons of your life. So if you can make this note, it's very important, because when we embrace the unknown, what I did in my life, and I took the risk, I have seen me turning to a better person and living a better lifestyle. So getting mad at the situation where you're not getting anything out of it, it's good to have that madness about getting to be a better person. So that improvisation needs to have the radical change. You need to be mad at the things which has not improved you. So disappearing 3 months in the sense is to commit to a new path, to a new beginning, to a newer start. And I think this is which has helped me a lot. This is something which I have given you in nutshell are the key takeaways, so that if you can follow and practice on this as a younger generation, it is going to give you a lot of encouragement of improvisation in your life career. So guys, the most important thing is we can give you all the blueprints, we can give you all the education, we can give the younger generation a lot of things to take away from us. We have a lot of inspiring, good questioners. We have a lot of things to do, but you cannot be a good son, daughter, a student if you don't follow one simple thing is respecting your parents. And I think this is a very emotional thing which I've always seen in my life is we made money, and I did this mistake that when I was making money, I was blowing it off. I was also supporting my parents, but to an extent, I was just giving the house expenses and just limiting it to a very little, not giving the maximum to my parents. And I was trying to enjoy more part of my life and enjoy with pools and snookers and partying and going out and all these things. This is all good. This is fine. We all should do it as young people. We should enjoy life. I'm not saying that you should be out of it, but at the same time, you have to take the blessings of the parents, because I had made this message for my mom that, this is like you should never harm your mother with the words. And we all as younger generation, I see today, even I have kids, and I see that the back answer and, that words of anger, and that all goes in, that is something which the parents don't want to see. And this is where you have to understand the love. Your mother has loved you before even you were in this world. And she kept you 9 months in a room, and she didn't know you also. And she had loved you from the time she saw there was a birth. There was something coming to life, right? So if you ever look into eyes, her silent prayers when you go for your exams, when you go and study, when you're sitting late nights doing some activities, she's always checking on you, right? She's not coming to see what naughty things you're doing or what stop you. She just cares for you. She just feels that she wants to see. So you all don't see that stress lines and those those kind of scars on her body and the pain she's going through cooking for you and all that pain they go through. So I truly want you to understand the mother's love. This is a message that as a younger student you should really respect them. And a dad, don't ignore your dads, guys. I am also dad, and I know how much they have sacrificed on their career. They have how much they have been on the path of giving up on their dreams and working on your dreams and working for your happiness and getting no reward for that. And what you see them and what is their place, right? Today they're asking a question, because a lot of the dads today see their kids basically ignoring them. They don't see them really asking, dad, how was your day? What have you done in your career? When you started working in this job, you have where you put your youth. You've never questioned them, where he has spent so many years to feed the whole family. How is he getting the money? How hard is he tirelessly working? And what has he done for your dreams? There is something what you need to connect with your parents, and you have to understand. Sit down by them. By the evening they're coming, you have to share their care. You have to give them the love. You remember, they are the only people who are the best people in your life, who are giving you the best advice, and they're the one who are going to always love you for what you have been doing. Okay, they are the honest people who are always going to be standing for you. So this is something which I made for parents, and I think if you can take a screenshot and just keep this with you as a remembrance, and you will really feel emotional when you read this alone. You'll really have tears in your eyes. You really feel how precious these words are and how much they care for you.
Anshit Jain, Sarfraz wants to ask you a book recommendation to read in year 2025.
My favorite book is always The Atomic Habits, Psychology of Money. And I think and Grow Rich is a book, Rich Dad and Poor Dad. I think these are the few books I think every young person should read, because इसमें इंसान को पहली चीज़ तो एटॉमिक हैबिट्स है, हमारे जो स्मॉल हैबिट्स है कैसे इम्प्रोवाइज करते हैं, वो सारी चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि टाइनी जो इम्प्रूवमेंट्स है हमारी लाइफ में, क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत बड़ा चाहते हैं, हम बहुत क्विक रिजल्ट देखना चाहते हैं, हर चीज़ में आगे से ऐसी छलांग लगाना चाहते हैं कि हम अपने आप को नेक्स्ट लेवल पे दिखना चाहते हैं, पर ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है सच्चाई में है। और हकीकत में अगर आप काम करना चाहते हो तो आपको इम्प्रोवाइजेशन को छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स पे करना है। तो मेरे हिसाब से एटॉमिक हैबिट एक अच्छा नर्चरिंग स्टैंडर्ड है जो आपके ब्रेन को एकदम स्टेबलाइज करेगा और आपको इम्प्रूवमेंट के हिसाब से एक सच्चाई बताएगा। और साइकोलॉजी ऑफ मनी इज क्या, आज की जनरेशन में और मेरे साथ जो दिक्कत थी कि मैं पैसे को किस तरीके से देखता हूँ, पैसे को मैं एक बुराई देखता हूँ या पैसे को मैं अच्छाई देखता हूँ, वो सारी चीजें उसको मिलाती है, क्योंकि उसके अंदर आप पैसे को कैसे लाभ में ला सकते हो, कैसे आप उसको यूज में ला सकते हो, कैसे आप पैसे के साथ एक अच्छा इंसान बन सकते हो, वो साइकोलॉजी ऑफ मनी है। उसके अंदर आपको एक बोलते ना, हमें स्कूल में सिखाया नहीं जाता कि हाउ डू यू डील विद मनी, हाउ डू यू बेसिकली बी अ पर्सन विद मनी मैनेजमेंट, which I think a lot of younger people, if they learn it at a younger age, it will help them to be a better person. And Think and Grow Rich एक ऐसी सोच लाता है, एक ऐसी चीज एक इंसान में दर्शाता है कि वो अपने आप में सोचता है कि वो क्या है और वो अंदर ही अंदर वो क्या अपने आप में बनना चाहता है, और वो क्या चीज महसूस करता है और वो क्या चीज प्राप्त करना चाहता है, उसके लिए वो क्या एक्टिविटीज और क्या न्यू जनरेशन के हिसाब से जो न्यू लिंक्स है, जो न्यू एजुकेशन मॉड्यूल्स है, उसके साथ किससे ढल के वो अपने आप को बड़ा कर सकता है। वो थिंक एंड ग्रो रिच का माइंडसेट है। और जो रिच डैड एंड पुअर डैड है वो सिखाता है कि आप अपनी जो पुअर माइंडसेट और रिच माइंडसेट में कैसे एक बेहतर इंसान बन सकते हो। और उसकी जो लड़ाई है गरीब सोच और अच्छी सोच, देखो पुअर माइंडसेट एक आपको यही दर्शाता है कि आप कहाँ से आते हो, व्हाट हम्बल लाइफस्टाइल यू कम इन फ्रॉम। नो, इट्स योर योर माइंडसेट। हमारी जो पुअर माइंडसेट और रिच माइंडसेट, अगर हमारी सोच है कि भले हमारे पास आज कुछ नहीं हो, पर मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि मेरे बैंक में 10 करोड़ रुपए होना चाहिए, और आप वो सोच के ऊपर काम करते हो, वो 10 करोड़ रुपया आपको आएगा, जरूर आएगा। मैं सोचता मेरे लिए कि मुझे घर लेना है बंबई में, और वो एक सोच थी पहले दिन से, जब मैं अपने आप को कॉलेज में दिखता था कि आई वांट टू बाय अ होम इन मुंबई मेरे पैसे से, और वो मैं कर पाया। अगर मैं उसके अंदर कोई दुविधा लाता, मेरी सोच के अंदर कोई भी तरीके से शंका लाता, तो वो मैं कभी नहीं कर पाता था, क्योंकि मैं अपने आप को एक डिफरेंट पर्सन देखता हूँ। मैं अपने आप को एक अलग आदमी ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए मुझे क्या लगेगा, हाँ मुझे लगा कि इंडिया में जो सैलरी है 40-50 हज़ार रुपये, मुझे नहीं होगा। मुझे यहाँ पे 25 लाख का या 50 लाख का घर खरीदना है, तो मुझे मिनिमम एक सैलरी 1.5 लाख 2 लाख की लानी पड़ेगी। तो ये सारी किताबें आपको क्या देती हैं, ये आपको एक कैरेक्टर, आपको एक एक अच्छा इंसान बनने में, आपका एक किरदार बनाने में आपको काफी हेल्प करेंगे। तो दीज आर माय टॉप बुक्स सजेशंस फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स वे।